Next up, Section 7, New Business, Item C, Ad Hoc Project Review. Vice Chair Fleming will take us through the status of our ad hoc and timelines. Commissioner Fleming.
So on the board is a list of all of our ad hocs and our champions. So I think it's best to just kind of go through this, maybe 2 minutes from each of the chairs to kind of give us an update where you are. Go from there.
Okay.
So we start with the bylaws. Commissioner Wilkins.
We had our first meeting. I had, in advance of that, asked Sabrina for samples of other commissions' bylaws. I got a sample and followed that as a template. And for purposes of this first meeting with the ad hoc, if you follow the template, it very little change from commission to commission. It was the commission name and numbers and meeting dates, but most of it was identical, and I didn't see a need for change, and the group agreed. The meat and potatoes was in Article 7 at the bottom, and that's where we got into a discussion of what should be in there, and that's our purpose in life. And so there would be a discussion of the work plan. We are different. We aren't appointed. We aren't straight elected. It was the caucus, so that needs to be in there. For my ad hoc, I did circle back with Commissioner Kolstad and Sabrina, and we can point to the document that the caucus is explained, so we don't have to detail that in the bylaws. All that being said, I think we're a long way. We've probably got one or two other meetings where we flesh out that last, and a lot of that, if it meets the Brown Act, we can do it between the three of us through email, because it's really hard to get all of us together, I'll tell you. But I don't see any problem in being done within the sunset.
Excellent. Thank you. So we're going to skip the caucus process. It has not...
Can I make one comment on that, Jonathan, first?
Oh, yes.
David, did you dig out a couple of years ago when we talked about bylaws? And this commission put in some recommendations on changes to the policy that we thought ought to be in. This goes back to Larry Ames' years. I sent those on to Zulma at one point. Have you looked at that?
I have
the
not.
Thinking of this commission a couple of years ago.
No, I used, I'm assuming it was a newer direction, is that we follow this new format. And so that was the template I used.
Okay. I'm just going to send you this for your
That would be
information,
helpful,
see if it's
because even if it's a different format, there may be some, yes. Yeah.
Are there any other questions? Nope. So we're going to move on to the Measure B Sales Tax Oversight, which is a standing committee. If we get an update, Commissioner Cunningham is not here. Who else is on that? Commissioner Carter?
Yes, we did meet briefly with Sabrina. We had a planning and logistics meeting. We just talked about best times to meet, best place to meet, how we're going to meet, what time, things like that. We weren't able to discuss really anything regarding the actual Measure B, so we kept it at that. And our first meeting, we have tentatively scheduled for November 1st. Time to be announced. We talked about that we needed to get an agenda out, take minutes, things like that, logistical things that need to take place during that meeting. It needs to be public. Just things like that is all we discussed. So.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for Commissioner Carter? No. Fostering neighborhood associations, I feel we've answered that one already.
Yeah, pass.
So annual budget, I don't think we've done anything there. That's okay. We'll get into some of the champion efforts and see if any work has begun on those. We'll start with illegal fireworks and Commissioner Hernandez.
So I don't think we've done any work in the last month around that, but I will be following up with the young woman that was here earlier to make sure that part of our championing is to support the efforts that she has put together to get the word out and to really make the enforcement happen, because I do want to see more improvements on that.
Awesome. Thank you. Are there any questions? Commissioner Henry?
if you would like for us to have your ideas considered for the slideshow, for the road show that we're having, please pass those forward to me as soon as you find out, and we'll implement them.
I will.
Commissioner Semanik?
So I just had a comment, and we've talked about it before. Everybody talks about illegal fireworks, the 4th of July only, but I think as you know, it's kind of year-round. So I hope the discussions include that year-round concept. And we heard from the fire department that they don't have the resources for year-round, but that's another subject matter. So I just want to emphasize that I think it's a year-round issue. At least that's what I'm hearing from people. Not just the 4th of July.
No, and I live in District 5. We have Chinese New Year, Vietnamese New Year, New Year's Eve, Cinco de Mayo, you name it.
Are there any other questions? Thank you for the update. We're going to go to the sales tax increase strategies. Commissioner Estrada?
I think I had a question now to the city staffer, and maybe I didn't get a response, or maybe I overlooked a response, but I have no update this month. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I guess we won't take questions then. We'll take questions, why not? Anyone have a question? No?
Or debate.
Okay. Not yet, actually. Participatory budgeting, Commissioner Sika is no longer with us. He's alive, he's just not here. Does anybody want to take that up? Okay, then we should probably take that off of our work plan.
Is there a formal mechanism for us to do that?
You'd have to motion.
Do we have a motion to take that off the work plan?
Commissioner Navarro?
Has he reported? Is he okay? I just wanted to make sure he's
An update on Commissioner Sika is that he has resigned, not officially through city channels. He announced it on Nextdoor. So we're still working to confirm it with him, but at this point, we're assuming he's resigned.
Commissioner Wilkins?
It's hard to read that. Can you clarify what he was on? Because I thought it was the budget, and that was a standing requirement, and whether he's here or not here, we're kind of obligated.
The standing requirement, sorry to cut you off there.
No.
The standing requirement was actually on this other one, the Measure B sales tax oversight. So that's the standing committee.
Mm-hmm.
This was a different effort altogether. This is the participatory budgeting. Schedule presentations to learn more. So it was different, but it is confusing.
Participatory budgeting is something that's happened in some of the districts, the council districts, but not all of them.
Do we have a motion? I'd like to remove that from housekeeping. I'd like to motion from Semanik to remove that from our work plan. Second from Martin. Thank you. And Sabrina, I'll work with you to whatever the formality of that is.
Hang on, let's just.
Yep.
Just to
Oh.
remove this work item.
Yeah, this is the debate
This way
period.
he's no longer on commission.
Thank you.
And,
Yep.
uh,
When he's
if he's
formally, yeah.
Then what's one thing if he's not?
I agree.
So we had a second to remove it, but I just heard Commissioner Lebowski say that maybe we should hold off until he officially resigns.
Amend the motion that if Commissioner Sika is determined to have resigned and no longer on the Neighborhoods Commission, that we then remove it. However, if he retains his position on the commission, then we would not remove it at this time.
So modified.
So that's a modification.
Okay, so, and Commissioner Semanik, you approve? Okay, so that is the motion now.
Second. Commissioner Martin, vote. All in favor?
No, Can I make a point first? We can't act on anything that isn't on the agenda to act on.
Okay.
So if you look under action, it says discussion only.
Okay.
We can't do anything right now.
Okay. Well, I'm eager to have this a clean work plan. So add it to the agenda next time.
Commissioner Colstead, thank you.
Yeah, we skipped number 2, which is mine, the caucus process. And there's been no action. I've been doing a lot of stuff, but we can't really move until the end of the year. But there's a difference on the dates. You've got the sunrise, sunset in the columns as November and May. We really need them in December and June so that we can basically run the caucuses through. We'll have to keep the ad hoc committee together through June because we'll want to push some of those meetings out. I'm thinking right now, maybe we'll start with D3 because it's mine and we know the people fairly well. We do that maybe in April, and then do a couple of them in May and a couple in June, just kind of as a rough schedule right now. But we just need to update that table to say December and June.
Okay.
And there's no meeting in December, which makes it complicated, but doesn't mean we can't form and begin our work. We don't have to actually have a meeting of the entire group when we set that off.
Sabrina, from a logistics standpoint?
That is also something that would require a vote, so I can agendize it for the next meeting.
Thank you. We have a request to speak when you're done.
Okay, so let's have public comment then.
Public comment, Danny Garza.
Good evening. My name is Danny Garza. I just came for clarification. Does anybody know what Council Policy 38 is? Because the Platareo neighborhood is having 7 dumpsters in our neighborhood this Saturday. And District 5 has not notified anybody. That's a lot of taxpayer dollars going down the drain. We've asked for Carrasco to include in our flyers that they were copying and are no longer copying for us this dumpster day, and she refused, citing Council Policy 38. Does anybody know what that is? Because there's going to be a lot of money sitting empty in Platareo. That's my question. No? Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
It's on the web, Danny. You can find it.
I looked it up, and I don't think that
That exists.
what they're claiming fits with what 38 says.
Found it. Okay.
Thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
Anything else on the agenda, on the ad hoc?
No, thank you.
Okay.